pass where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you down flat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh, 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 oh. Sanitizer gets hospitalized. Fight the virus, then fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test so you not happy. You can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test so you not happy. You can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
I'm living for Jesus, living for Jesus, yeah. Oh, I wanna be remembered as a man who sings songs for Jesus Christ, who was willing to lay down his life, do his will no matter what the price. Well, I'm singing for the deaf man who can hear about salvation through my song. And I'm singing for the blind man who can see the light in me and come along. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. And when other houses crumble, mine be strong. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. Let you see the light in me and come along. La 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 la. There are times when I am tempted to turn off the rock and road that traveled on. There are times when I say, Jesus, can you find another man to sing your song? Well, I know I'm not the only one that could sing this melody. But he has chosen me to bless me and to lead me into what is best for me. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. And when other houses crumble, mine be strong. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. That you see the light in me and come along. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, I wanna be remembered as a man who sings songs for Jesus Christ, who was willing to lay down his life, do his will no matter what the price. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. That when other houses crumble, might be strong. Live for Jesus, that's what matters, yeah. That you see the light in me and come along. Live for Jesus, that's what matters. And when other houses crumble, might be strong. Live for Jesus, that's what matters, yeah. That you see the bright shining light and come along. That you see the light in me and come along. Come along. That you see the light in me.
The station with the artist station with the artist music.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. To the cross, the pain you bear, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. right. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to my viewers and listeners to Rebel Radio. And, we have for you this afternoon, as usual, a list of programs. We're going to start by talking to the president of the Caribbean Guyana Institute for Democracy. And this is an institution that is based in the United States, Mr. Rickford Burke. And last week he issued a statement in which he accused the Guyana government of trying to implicate him in crimes which he is not he knows nothing about. Mr. Burke, good afternoon. Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to your listeners.
Yes, sir. Now, as I was saying last week, I saw you issued a 2-page document, statement in which you accuse the Guyanese government of trying to influence the U.S. Justice Department to take action against you.
Yes.
Yes. So, tell us what is happening there.
Well, we have a racist government in Guyana that marginalizes and subjugates Black people, African Guyanese, and they don't want people to talk about it. The people in Guyana can't talk about it because they're under subjugation. The government is an autocratic government. They're patterning themselves after Russia. And there's no freedom of speech in the country. When people speak out against the government, they're targeted, they're killed, they're jailed. Whenever those of us overseas pick up the baton, the government targets us.
Yes.
One of the things that they are doing now, before I get to myself, I'm a servant of the people, so I like to talk about what they're doing to people. The government is right now charging anybody who protests against, they're being charged with terrorism. They put out wanted bulletins for them, and they go and rung them up and charge them with terrorism. There's several East Indians, and these are Black people. There's several East Indians who sometime last year protested on the street, broke up a market, threw gasoline on cars, brandished guns on the street, threatened to kill people, and the government did not arrest them. But the government went into a Black village, Golden Grove, where the police shot and killed a young man over a woman. And the police put out 3 different versions of it, all 3 lying, saying that this young man is a gun dealer, he's a drug dealer, he fired at police and all that. Luckily, there were security surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. People released the cameras, and we were able to see what happened. Mm-hmm. The president appointed a judge, former judge, to investigate this matter, and he's the chairman of the Police Complaints Authority, and he recommended that the police officers be charged with murder. Now, if those people did not protest, the police would have gotten away with killing that boy and lying, And all of those people, those young men, a nephew who was going to work, he's a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, going to work, and the road was blocked, and he just stood up there and mingled with his villagers. And the police went and picked them up and charged them 1 year later with terrorism. Mm-hmm. And so in 2021, I told the people of Guyana it's their constitutional right to go out and protest, even if for their rights and for justice, racial justice. And even if it means blocking the roads and shutting the country down so that the international community can understand what's going on. When I said that the government put out a wanted bulletin for me for terrorism, for inciting violence, and for sedition, I live in the United States where the Constitution of the United States, my free speech rights. Yes. They said that I violate the cybercrime laws. Guyana's cybercrime laws have no extraterritorial application. It's like you telling me that you're going to apply some Jamaican law to me here. So they think that they're powerful. They have billions upon billions of dollars and hundreds of billions of dollars in oil revenues, and they're using it to turn the country into police state. You can't criticize them. And the United States government is tolerating it. And there seems to be a division or a disconnect between the executive branch of the United States government and the legislative branch, which is Congress, because members of Congress who are closely connected with their constituents are speaking out. Mm-hmm. The Attorney General of New York spoke out. But the Biden administration has not removed the Trump ambassador yet. But Guyanese reached out to us and told us, CGID, yes, that a dealership which helps to finance the ruling party has been swindling them, has been robbing them, has been defrauding them, has been committing predatory lending. And so on Facebook, I went and called on the company to make it right with the customers. And that's what they're calling extortion. They're saying we're trying to extort these people. Mm-hmm. And they put out a wanted bulletin, and so they sent it to the U.S. government. And currently there's an FBI investigation into whether or not the government is trying to use the United States government to pursue a vendetta campaign against Guyanese in the United States, which, as you know, is a crime.
Yeah, Mr. Burke.
So that's where we are right now. Yes.
Yeah, just tell our listeners and viewers what is the CGID and what are its functions. Just enlighten my listeners, please.
Well, CGID is a rights advocacy organization that advocates for people's rights, human rights, civil rights, liberties and freedoms. We advocate for immigrants' rights in the United States. We advocate for a favorable foreign policy, U.S. foreign policy towards the Caribbean region. We also advocate for good governance, inclusive governance, democracy. And we're a very influential organization. We work here with the district attorney. We work with members of Congress. We work with the mayor's office. We work with the governor's office. We work with government to ensure that people's rights are protected, to ensure that our community is empowered. So when we speak, we have credibility. Our elected officials listen to us. And so the government strategy is to attempt to criminalize members of the organization. As a matter of fact, the Attorney General came here, Attorney General of Guyana came to New York, and he was investigated for a murder in Guyana. And so we had a protest calling on the police to arrest him or investigate him mandatorily and issue a report clearing him or give us a clarification on this murder. Mm-hmm. The next day, the Attorney General convened the meeting and was advocating for me to be killed, to the point where he named a hitman. And a law enforcement officer was part of that conversation. Somebody invited him to the meeting, And he left the meeting and called the police and called me. And we thank him for that because that's the right thing. And up to now, and as a matter of fact, the Attorney General has not been arrested. I'm not sure if he was in New York since then. I'm pretty sure he was. But he then asked the Guyana Police Commissioner to call the investigating arm of the New York City Police Department that was investigating that, accusing them. And so they're running the country like Russia in accordance with Trumpism. And so we have now engaged our elected officials. Like I said, the FBI is now investigating the matter. And we'll see where it goes from here. Yes. We are disappointed in CARICOM because CARICOM forever has turned its back on Afro-Guyanese. When this same party was in power from 1992 to 1995, they formed death squads along with the criminal underworld, and they killed over 1,400 black young men.
In Guyana?
Who they said, oh yes, from between 1999 and 2011, the ruling party in Guyana, the People's Progressive Party, formed death squads, which shot and killed extrajudicially over 1,400 young black men. CARICOM's headquarters was there. CARICOM did nothing. There's never been an investigation. They labeled these men criminals and shot and killed them. Well, you know who most of these men are? They were in protests. The same kind of people that they're now labeling as terrorists. Yes, but they have money and they can lobby the United States government and so on, and so no action is taken. We will ensure, and that's what our organization has been doing, demanding accountability and justice for these men that were murdered. And so they're after me. They said they're going to kill me.
Yes.
I am not scared of them. And we want the United States government to hold these criminals basically accountable. And so that's why they're after me. Yeah. They think that they can stay in Guyana, which is what they do to people, and frame me. The police just hold you and frame you and say you commit a crime and lock you up. The judges in Guyana are dismissing cases left, right, and center. One judge last year condemned the prosecutor for condoning lawlessness because the police charged a gentleman with murder.
Yes.
This gentleman was charged with murder and he was in jail for 12 years. And when the matter came up before the judge, the DPP went and told the judge, Your Honor, we have no evidence in this case. We have no evidence that this man committed murder. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing in Guyana.
Yes. I saw where you have accused the Attorney General. Or you said that
he was broke up.
I said I saw in your statement where you alleged yes. that the Attorney General was caught on tape planning to send a gunman to kill a journalist.
Yes, the same Attorney General. I'll send it to you. You can play it on your show. This same Attorney General, I think is in sometime in 2010 or something like that. The largest newspaper in Ghana, the Kaitra News, published a story that he did not like.
Yes.
And he called the journalist and told the journalist that people can't respond to newspaper when they smear them. So then they're going to take their weapons and come there and Peter shall pay for Paul. In other words, the innocent will pay.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to shoot up the office. That's terrorism. That's terrorism.
Yes.
And that same Attorney General was investigated for the murder of a Guyana Defense Force former member, Courtney Kamiwing, who was campaigning against him. The gentleman had mounted a one-man protest at his office. They threatened him to kill him, and they killed him.
Yes. So has anybody been charged for that?
No, he and his bodyguard were investigated. His bodyguard was arrested. Eyewitnesses said that they saw the car speeding away from the area and all of that. Nothing happened. That's Guyana.
No.
There's no rule of law in Guyana. Every time these people come to power, there's no rule of law in Guyana. And so they can't control me and my speech and can't do me anything here. So what they did, got the Guyana police force to try to frame me with some conspiracy to commit some, how much million, all sort of nonsense.
Yes.
And so that they think that they could get the United States government to send me to Guyana so that they could kill me. This is how evil these people are.
No, this is
and so
outrageous.
The Caribbean, the people in the Caribbean will now have to raise their voices.
Yes. And you're also saying, Mr. Burke, that the Afro-Guyanese, meaning the black Guyanese, are being discriminated. The government is discriminating black Guyanese. You're also
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. There's no black people can't talk in Guyana. Black people can't own anything. Black people can't. The last time I was on your program, I think I sent you where the government took bulldozers and bulldozed these people homes from ancestral land, black ancestors' land, ancestral land that the slaves bought through their sweat and tears.
Yes.
And pooled their money and put it in wheelbarrows and bought that village. Because the village is now a central part on the corner of the highway from Georgetown to the airport, the government wanted for its Indian supporters. So they went there, they said they're building another road, went there and break down the people's homes.
Yes.
Lock them up, throw them in the mud, throw women in the mud, kill their cattle, buried it, broke up all of their appliances in their homes.
Yes.
Just
I also,
last week.
Yes. Go ahead.
Just 2 weeks ago, the government went and broke down the opposition office in one of the regions, as you would call it, in one of the constituencies.
Yes. Yes, I saw that.
So imagine.
I saw that
yes.
too. Yes, I saw that. I also saw where some Indians they assaulted some black Guyanese students too. I saw that there was some
right.
Yes.
And the police at first refused to arrest them, and then when people started to cry out, I think they arrest 1 or 2 people, but it's a whole host of them. And they said the Guyana is segregated. Blacks and Indians don't live together. But this school is in an Indian village, and they beat up the kids and said the kids wasn't coming to an Indian village to go to school.
Yes, right.
So the Jamaican people must reach out to Prime Minister Olnez and let him know that we have racism in Guyana, we have an apartheid government, and they have to act now to bring some resolution to the racial issue, or they'll be acting later, maybe. Maybe the situation is going to go to hand. We had a race war and a civil war from 1961 to 1964. And it seems to me that in my analysis of the political climate, that we're heading there again. I hope not.
Well, that is what is on my mind, because I look back and saw that there was a racial conflict in the country in the 60s.
Yes.
But we are now 2023, and I don't think this is a time when we should, the people of Guyana should be looking in that direction again at all.
Well, at some point in time, people have to defend themselves.
Yes.
When you have a government that is using all of the resources of the country for their own ethnic supporters, government giving only Indians contracts. Up to today, I opened the newspapers, $1.8 billion in contracts, all East Indians. And I have to wrap up now because I've arrived at a point for a meeting.
Right.
And so this is the situation we're in. We want the people of Jamaica to stand in solidarity with the Afro-Guyanese people in Guyana who are under subjugation. They're being marginalized. There's an attempt, apparently, to reinvent slavery in Guyana, and it must be defeated.
I want to thank you very much, very, very much, sir. And I want you to just to assure you that this platform is open for us to discuss these issues, because we are talking about one set of people, and therefore we must do everything that is possible to ensure.
Thank you very much for having me. Good day to your listeners.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good. Bye-bye.
Yes. That was Mr. Rickard Burke, and he's the president of the Caribbean Guyana Institute for Democracy. And you heard what he said there. There's certainly problems are brewing in our Caribbean, in Guyana, and we have to do something to try and prevent that. That is not good at all. I also want to talk to the Guyanese opposition leader, Mr. Aubrey Norton, and we are scheduled to have a discussion with him this afternoon. Let us take a break.
Revival in my soul. I want a revival in my soul. I want a revival in my soul. I must apply to the blood of Jesus. I want a revival.
Ever wanted to share what you know about a crime, but were too afraid? At Crime Stop, we make it easy for you to report on crimes safely and 100% anonymously. All it takes is 4 simple steps. First, contact the tip line at 311 or visit www.crimestop.org or www.311tips.com. Then share what you know anonymously with one of our trained counselors. Any information related to criminal activity is accepted. We don't want to know your identity. We don't record calls or use star 69, and there is no way of tracing tips over the phone or online. You'll also be given a file number for your tip. Next, track the progress of your tip by calling our tip line at 311 and quoting your file number. Finally, if your tip leads to success, you will be eligible for a cash reward. Rewards will be paid out upon request through a trusted disbursement agency with verification process to ensure that your identity remains hidden. Share what you know anonymously. Contact.
Don't give up, yeah. Just ride out your storm. Hey, you've been in the storm, and it seems like forever. And your nights of confusion has been cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. Oh Lord, so I cherish the old rugged cross. Hold on till my trophy on the hurt I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross. Oh, now, yeah, and exchange it someday for a crown. Oh, now, yeah, on the old rugged cross. So despised by the world as a wondrous attraction to me. For the dear Lamb of God left His glory above. To be to dark Calvary. Yeah, yeah. So I cherish the old rugged cross. Oh, now, yeah. Till my trophies on the hurt I lay down.
Jamaica.
Best decision ever.
Feel the sand between your toes and the gentle waves of the sea on your skin. Feel the warm Jamaican breeze lift your spirits and nourish your soul. Escape to exactly what makes your heart beat. You will love every moment. Jamaica, heartbeat of the world. Let's go.
Jesus' love is so sweet, yeah. The more I trust him, the more I love him. There's nothing good for me he'll deny. The longer I know him, the better I can show him. I couldn't stop no even if I tried. The more I trust him, the more I love him. There's nothing good for me he'll deny. The longer I know him, the better I can show him. I couldn't stop no even if I tried. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the moments fly. This love is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter. Yeah. This love is sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the moments fly. This love is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter. Yeah. This love is sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. Oh, man, he saved me. His good grace he gave me. Places left deep down in my heart. Great joy in knowing with him I am growing, and I never out for him to depart. The moment he saved me, his good grace he gave me. Places left deep down in my heart. Great joy in knowing with him I am growing, and I never out for him to depart. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, 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 sweeter as the moments fly. This love is richer, deeper, fuller, sweeter. Yeah. This love is sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the days go by. He gets sweeter, sweeter, sweeter as the moments fly. This love is richer, deeper, blessed Savior. Oh, what a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grief to bear. Oh, what a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. And with trials and temptation, is there trouble everywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Oh, yeah, a wonderful friend. A friend in need. Jesus, a blessed Savior. Oh, yeah. Oh, now, yeah. Take it to the Lord in prayer. The burden we bear. Happy to know that Jesus can. Can we find a friend so faithful? Who will all those sorrows share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Oh, we weak and heavy laden, cumbered with a load of care. Precious Savior, still have a refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful? Who will all our sorrow share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Where do I go from here? What faith is drawing me? Touch my heart, it guide my foot, say on the mighty, oh, through the grace of God alone, I cast aside these fears I've known, and it's myself from the depth of deep despair. Oh, yeah.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. And
Thanks for having me.
yes, sir. We are now going to Guyana to talk with the opposition leader, Mr. Aubrey Norton. Good afternoon, Mr. Norton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Richards. How are you?
Well, I am supposed to be okay, sir. I hope you are fine.
I am.
Yes. What is the latest on the political scene? I saw, but before one of the first things I would like to hear you on is that I saw where there was some controversy with the between you and the Bahamian Prime Minister, and that is following. Apparently, he was saying that he met with you, but in an unofficial capacity. What is the true position with that?
Well, let me tell you what is the situation. a journalist here misrepresented what I said.
Okay.
I said to the journalist that I was in Guyana, in the Bahamas,
Right.
and I briefed the Bahamian Prime Minister on the political situation in Ghana in the short time we had. We
Right.
spent about 10 minutes together because
Yes.
the journalist in conveying it ought to suggest that I said I spoke to him as CARICOM chairman, which was totally untrue.
Okay.
In that circumstance, he put it to the Bahamian Prime Minister that I spoke to him in the context of the Caribbean. I've since responded to point out that at no stage in that interview did I say I speak with him as chairman of CARICOM.
Okay.
I said I met him as the Bahamian Prime Minister, and in a very short period, because I was to meet him 2 days before, but I missed my flight. And so it's at the end of my visit, I actually spoke with him.
Okay.
Now, I think by him saying that I spoke to the chairman, the Prime Minister reacted to that, and understandably so, because he would not have known that that is not what I told the journalist. The journalist put it his own way.
Yes.
And that is what resulted. I've since sent information to the Prime Minister of the Bahamas correcting it through one of the persons I've been engaging.
Yes.
And I think the situation is now clear. But at no stage did I suggest that I met him as chairman of CARICOM.
Right.
And that is what brought the controversy.
Yes. What is the
So
latest?
I also indicated that I was going to write him officially. And the journalist put it as if he told me to write him, but that's the way sometimes things go.
Okay. What is the latest with the demolition of that regional building by the government?
We have reoccupied the building.
Yes.
Of course, they proceeded to charge 2 of our members for disorderly behavior. We think they're just putting up a front because they know full well that building has been ours for up to 50 years. And so at present we're occupying the building. We continue to do our political work from there. We are putting back things in place.
Okay. And so what is the latest on the political front in Guyana?
Well, the latest on the political front is that they're making a certain noise about one of the opposition parties, the Working People's Alliance. One of the speakers they are contending made statements that can incite racism and public security problems. The reality is, the person you're talking about, Takuma Gonse, in fact, described the Guyana situation accurately by pointing out the levels of racism in the society. And rather than the government focus on the issues he raised and sought to solve them, they focus more on talking about charging him under the Terrorism Act. In recent times, if you just protest, they are charging you under this Terrorism Act, which is a misuse of the law. And that is where we are with that so far.
Okay. So as we speak, if you protest in Guyana, a peaceful protest, you can be charged as a terrorist.
Well, they have been using the law wrongfully, but that is the present situation. You have about 12 people now before the courts.
Yes.
For participating in protests and being charged on the Terrorism Act, including the last female, Ms. Robin Simon, who is one of our activists. They charge her, but they cannot show any footage of her involved in any illegality. She was in the protests. She has a stick in her hands walking down the road. Yes. When the police met her, they showed her with a stick, but they were unable to even establish that she was involved in anything violent, none whatsoever. But they proceeded to charge her for under the Terrorism Act for committing some terrorist action.
Yes.
So clearly all of them are just trumped up charges and a misuse of the Guyana police force. That is one of the critical issues here. we are finding that they are misusing the Guyana police force. They have politicized the Guyana police force, and therefore the police is not being allowed to operate based on law. We have been calling for the police to investigate the second vice president here, Jack Dale, who is accused in a recorded documentary of being involved in corruption and fraud, but the police refuse to even investigate while they are charging people who they have no evidence of anything against.
Yes.
So that is where they are. That is.
Yes. And I know that the local government elections are coming up. How are you preparing for that?
We are preparing for the local government elections. We are at present protesting the fact that they have gerrymandered the boundaries. Some of the areas that we would have won, what they did is to add it to strongholds so that they can overtake the numbers. They have also been dividing up constituency to suit them. So we are at present protesting this whole gerrymandering of the boundaries to achieve their objectives.
Well.
But we are preparing for the local government elections and getting ourselves ready.
Yes. You know, I would. What is the with all of this what seems like, you know, the country is heading for a state of political instability. What is the mood of the Guyanese people at this time?
The mood of the Guyanese people is that they know all about these excesses. They know that the government is pushing to. I get the impression the government believes that if there is ethnic tension, it operates in their interest.
Yes.
So Guyanese know that, and a lot of them are sensibly responding. The government also uses a lot of fear, driving fear into the public service. Now the public service is predominantly Afro-Guyanese.
Yes.
So they're driving fear. They're using the police in a very politicized way. And so though the mood of the people is one in which they know of the excesses of the government, I don't think it has arrived at the point yet where the people are going to head to the streets. But it is evident if there aren't changes, the stability of the society will be affected.
Yes. And I know that this is not what the country it should be looking at the moment, because of the fact that the Guyanese economy is turning in the right direction because of, you know, recent oil, the fact that the country now have oil.
Well, that is the center of the problem, because you see, while the country has oil, the benefits are not trickling down to the people. In fact, if you follow in the reports out of the IMF and the World Bank, you will see that while we have had an increase in oil resources and general resources to the society, we are also witnessing at the same time an increase in poverty, 48.2%. And the general view is that there is poor governance in Guyana, and we are advocating a people-centered development in which we intend to take the resources that emerge from oil and gas to be able to pump into the society to develop the people, to develop the non-oil sector, which is critical because at present the non-oil sector is in decline. Mm-hmm. And if you make your country totally dependent, there are a lot of dangers there that we will have to deal with. So while there are the resources, unless there is good governance, we in the direction some countries who have had poverty increase, mm-hmm. A few people benefit, and the country becomes unstable. And we seem to be heading there. And that is why in the case with the Gunse and the WPA, we urge them to deal with the critical issue, the issue of discrimination and the fact that the people of Guyana are not benefiting from the oil resources.
Yes, sir. Yes, that is not good news at all. What is happening in the agricultural sector?
Well, the government continues to claim that they're doing much in agriculture, but in my budget presentation, I pointed out to them that they cannot continue to just promote agriculture in their strongholds, regions 2, 3, 5, and 6, and parts of region 4 where they're strong. There are 10 regions in Ghana, and it is in the interest of the people of Ghana for us to have an agricultural plan for every area and for us to increase our agricultural production so that when you put money into the system, there is production to absorb it. As it is, what is happening is that money is coming into the system. You have to be importing that Guyana should be producing. And what that does is there's heavy inflation, high cost of living, and we have been advocating for them to take an approach that allows us to increase agricultural production, that allows us to increase manufacturing, and therefore place the society in a better position to produce what it needs and be able to, apart from producing what it needs, you will be able to grow the non-oil sector and to fight the inflation that is a concomitant of the increase in money in the society, the reduction in the production of goods and services, and the high importations that are occurring.
Yes. On that question of import, what is how much Guyana spend to import food annually?
I don't know that I have the figure at hand. I can double check it. Yeah. What I do know is that before oil, we produce a lot of the food stuff that we needed in Ghana, all our fruits, all our vegetables, etc.
Okay.
Now, with the advent of oil and more people coming, we are seeing that the production level is inadequate. And so what we have been advocating for is the agricultural plan in each region so that we produce those goods and services so that they can be provided right here. And then you will be able to deal with the inflation, the imported one, as well as the local one, because as these companies are coming and people are coming and you run short, they are forced to now import. In the process, because you are utilizing all the vegetables, etc. you have here, you are at the same time producing a shortage which is carrying up the prices and therefore inflation. And so it is a kind of a circle that you have to end. We have to increase production and productivity, meet a lot more of the needs in agricultural production, and contribute to a reduction in inflation and food. The president here is talking about food security, but their approach is threatening the very food security. By the time Burnham died, Guyana was producing all the vegetables, etc. it needed.
Yes.
And we now seem to be going back to a position where we're importing cabbage, where we're importing all the basics. And we had ended that, and we had high levels of production that allowed us to produce the vegetables, etc. we need. I'm well prepared to accept that with the coming of the oil and gas sector, a lot of foreigners are coming, etc. But the solution cannot be in importing these things. It has to be in expanding our agricultural production so that they are produced here. We generate jobs, and at the same time, we reduce the push towards inflation.
Of course, of course. Mr. Norton, are you satisfied with this spend on education?
No, we are not. The president went to the UN and promised that they will spend 20% of the budget on education. That should have been $76 billion. We are only spending $24 billion, which means we are well short. What that means is that we are not putting the resources we need into this human resource development. We need to train people to be able to monitor the oil and gas. We need to train people to improve our capacity to audit oil and gas and to do a number of things. And we are not seeing that kind of investment.
Okay, okay.
So I'm very unhappy with the investment in education. It needs to be, apart from the fact that it needs to be more, it needs to be focused. And at the tertiary level, we need a survey of the needs of the society vis-a-vis the oil industry and other sectors, and then to increase our spending on that human resource development so that we create the institutional capacity needed to undertake the management and development of our country.
Yes, yes. And what about the spending on crime and violence? Is that being attended to?
Well, the problem with crime in the society is that we had trained while we were in government. A lot of the investigators to deal with crime. What the government did is essentially move all the trained people, put them in the interior regions, and put back at the CID a lot of the persons who were involved in corruption and not dealing with crime. And so you find that crime is on the increase, and rather than having a police force that can address crime, you have a situation where they're not addressing crime. For instance, we have a famous execution here in which a popular person named Short Pants was executed. Now, during our time, we put a lot of CCTV cameras around. As fate would have it, suddenly these cameras not working, and once these people who are linked to the present government are involved in crime, the tendency is for the criminal system not to work. And in the case where they have CCTV cameras, they conveniently don't work. So it is not only a question of the financial resources, it's also a question of the political will and a question of us ensuring that the infrastructure we put in place to deal with crime is utilized to deal with crime rather than selectively dealing with crime and only picking up petty crimes. But when it comes to the key crimes involving the big drug lords, etc., unfortunately, suddenly, these things don't work.
Okay. So tell me something. What murder? The murder rate is on the increase in Guyana?
Yes, it is. In fact, we have had like 2 or 3 more recently, but we can't see the murder in isolation. The murder rate has increased, but I think it has to be seen in the context of, 1, the problems in the society economically, and 2, the lack of proper law enforcement, 3, the lack of proper criminal investigation. When you're in a society and people believe they could commit a murder, especially if they are wealthy, and get rid of it, and that's in the wrong direction.
Yes, yes. And so, Mr. Norton, without taking your strategies out of into the public, but what are some of the political strategies that the opposition is looking forward to now to put to the people as an alternate government?
All right. First of all, in my budget presentation, we outlined a people-centered development strategy. We said that our resources should be used to promote the interests of the people. For instance, we recommended that anybody who's earning less than 150,000 Guyana dollars should not be paying income tax, which would free up resources for the people. We have said to them that the country has a housing crisis. We're advocating for a rent-to-own policy, meaning government build houses, people pay rent, they do it up in the form of like a mortgage, and at the end of the process, the house becomes their own. We have also recommended that a lot of the young people, the children have difficulties getting to school. While we were in government, we started with very little resources to produce buses, bicycle boats, so that they can get to school. In my budget presentation, advocated for a national transportation network for both land and water water to be able to get our children to school, which again will impact. So on the one hand, we are outlining policies and programs that can carry us in the right direction. We have been engaged in the international community on what is happening, but we are going to have to increase our extra parliamentary activities. We have had parliamentary activities, but we have a speaker who leans towards the government. He doesn't give you the opportunity to do the kind of questioning you need to do. So we intend to continue the parliamentary pressure, but we clearly have got to shift towards more militants in the society.
Okay. Well, okay, Mr. Norton, I want to thank you very much for your contribution this afternoon. And as I have said before, that this platform is available for us to discuss these issues and that we share the information and get the information out there for the people.
Thanks a lot and feel free.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
a lot and feel free. And
thank you very much, sir. That is the Guyanese opposition leader, Mr. Aubrey Norton, and he's telling us about what is happening in Guyana. You know, boy, things. Early on, we spoke to Ricard Burke of the Guyanese, the Caribbean Guyana Institute of Democracy. This organization is based in New York, and the listeners will recall he told us about what the government was trying to do to him and that organization. And you have just listened to the opposition leader, you know, giving us what he told us is that is all a recipe for political instability in that Caribbean country where they recently found oil, and that ought to be used to develop the economy and improve the lives of the people. But poverty is on the increase. Now, this is not good news. Well, let us take a break. When we're back, we are going to be talking about the ganja industry. Let us take a break.
One, two, three, two more. 1, 2. Adults to 30 minutes activity daily. Love your body, treat your body right. Vegetables, make sure you eat plenty. Children do 60 minutes activity daily. Drink some water when you feel thirsty. Cut down dessert and have a smoothie. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Listen up. Make sure you know your health status. Go a doctor and get a regular checkup. Chronic disease can slowly creep up. We can lower the risk and live up if we just eat right and get moving. Jumping, running, dancing or skipping. Change the children, them lazy habit. Make them play out the door and put down the tablet. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Jamaica get moving. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. After 2, make me hear you say I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1, 2. I love me. After 2, make me hear you say I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1, 2. I love me. 1, 2. Jamaicans, love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Jamaica get moving. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. One more time now. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Just eat right. Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Listen up.
Love your body, treat your body right. Love your body, treat your body right. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. I thought number one would surely be me. I thought I could be what I wanted to be. I thought of myself as a mighty big man, but I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Thank you, Jesus. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. Oh, Lord. Mountains too high and the valley is too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to stay. That I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Help me, Jesus. Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. Oh, yeah. I thank God I made Jesus my one and all. From now on this day, I'm surely gonna call. And if I don't trust him, I'd be less than a man. 'Cause I can't even walk without you holding my hand. Oh Lord, can't even walk without you holding my hand. The mountain's too high and the valley is too wide. Down on my knees, I've learned to stay. Can't even walk without you holding my hand. Thank you, Jesus, for all you have done for me right now. You've been so good to me. I thought number one would surely be me. I thought I could be what I wanted to be.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. And we are now going to be talking about the ganja industry. You know, that is one industry that we thought, or we believe, that is one of those industries that can make a bigger contribution to the development of the country and would have a positive impact on the lives of the people. We have with us the president of the Ganja Growers and Producers Association, Mr. Dickie Crawford. Dickie, how are you? Dickie? I'm not hearing Dickie at all. Hello, Dickie. I don't know what is happening. Mr. Crawford?
I can hear you now.
Oh, all right. You're hearing me now, right?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, all right. Yes. So, Mr. Crawford, what I saw last week,
yes,
where the government, I think it was from the minister, which has responsibility for the ganja industry, Mr. Harbin Hill, where he said that the government was about to make some effort in order to assist 120 odd small ganja farmers.
Yeah.
Did you see what is happening now with in the ganja industry, Dickie?
Well, essentially, we have ended up in a situation where we were not as efficient and as productive as we should have been, obviously. And we didn't take the industry seriously enough. Basically, Desmond, what came up was that over the years, because I'm talking about the time now, let us say, we're talking a lifespan. 2015, we decriminalized ganja in Jamaica, correct?
Right.
And we're now in 2023. So that's 8 years.
Yes.
And in those 8 years, let's put it probably a little bit calmly, just this year, Minister
Harbin Hill?
Yes, Harbin had a session where in May 2022, we went to that, and that was the ceremonial issuing of the 100th license for handling of ganja.
Yes.
So that was celebrated. But what you have to understand there, obviously 100 licenses, even if it were one per person, it would still be way below what is required in any thriving industry. And an industry which has been around in Jamaica for a long, long time, literally a century. Wasn't it Marcus Garvey and these guys out at they formed the original ganja farm out in Spanish Town and planted food and gave employment to the people, but the colonial authorities raided the farm at that time and destroyed it. And so we have had a long time to come back. But Jamaica, again, 60 years ago, at the University of the West Indies, we were producing for a country like ours. We produced some of the finest medicines, Asmasol and Canasol, by the professors at the University of the West Indies. And at the same time, what we have there was also Dr. Henry Lowe, who at the present time, Dr. Henry Lowe owns a ganja outlet, Medicanja. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yes, I've heard of it.
No. His objective is, and he's qualified for it, and he has spent the last, believe it or not, numbers of years trying to get into the world of proper products of all kinds, medicines. But Henry, again, I believe, is two obstacles that has presented themselves to him so far. Number one, he's trying to get into the world of what we would call big pharma, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The big farmers, the big pharmacies that own and control and distribute all these products don't really want other people to come in. The second thing which really bothers me a lot is that all these years Henry has tried to get financing from Jamaica. Can you imagine what would have happened had he been able to complete the project? So that is where we are. And now, after the 2015 decriminalization, we did not approach the thing really well at all. And what we were doing is as usual. The focus in the industry was towards a handful of people who apparently could pay the licenses to come in. And that's a major problem. It costs a lot of money, $2,500 US to start process of getting a license to grow ganja in Jamaica.
Yes.
Now, with small farmers, how many small farmers and traditional farmers you think can find that amount of money to come and start? And that's the starting money to produce. That's where you build the facility to produce the products from the ganja medicine.
Yeah.
So that has stalled it. And because of that, one of the things that You heard Auburn Hill say it, as you rightly put it, 128 small farmers targeted for support next 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
So what he means by that is that they're going to step up the arrangement and they're going to try to get more small farmers into the business, because it is pretty patent and obvious at this point in time to any and everybody that you cannot produce adequately if you alienate the best producers in a particular product. In ganja, it is the small farmers, the ganja farmers. Also in other aspects of food, it's the same thing. So that is part of the thing that he's talking about, Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would open up the door. And what he would say is this, that basically he put the position out that 10 acres, he will regulate it in the sense that you'll have 10 acres for a farm, and that for a cultivation, and then the people who come in, the farmers who will come into the owner or control of those 10 acres, will sell the ganja to the person who is a CLA licensee.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to start that apparently by April. Well, he said that in April 2023.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that has not really started, but let us say he has made that statement, and what is also called what we call a mother farm approach, which we started and that failed, that flopped, a shared economy where a small farmer will go into an agreement with a cultivator to sell it back to the mother farm.
Right. So
Yeah.
that should open the door for more small traditional farmers to get involved in the business.
Yes, definitely, it should.
Yes. Yes.
Providing the conditions, yes, to get in, and what we have to see then, that the conditions that will attend to that are going to be fair to the small farmer as well as the big farmer who is encouraging them and bringing them in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because it's one thing to talk about participating and producing for a big farm or a big company, as the case may be, and your position is that you don't get an adequate income out of that.
Well, you know, that is something that your association will have to stand up for. Because what you see, what we don't want,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want a situation, because we know, for example, in Jamaica, that the ordinary ganja farmer has been brutalized over the years, sent to jail. There are so many people who have gone to jail for ganja smoking in Jamaica. Now, we reach a stage now where we can actually make some money out of it. Now, it's not that those who cultivated the herb legally, is not that money has not been made from that source. You know, lots of money has been made from that source. And as a matter of fact, I know that as we speak, the illegal farmers, or the farmers who are not licensed, they are doing business.
Yep.
Now, what needs to be done is to bring everybody, all the farmers, under one umbrella, so that they don't have to plant and hide. They no longer have to do that. They are legitimate farmers. And therefore, Dickie, one of the things that we should acknowledge, you know, that the ganja industry is one of the industry that can have a serious positive impact on the lives of the people, the Jamaican people, you know. So therefore, I think that, you know, whatever needs to be done in order for us to realize that, to make that a reality.
Boon for Jamaica. I have associates, I have friends who tell me that their parents got enough money out of ganja to send them to the university.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So that they could come out and earn a good living, a very good living. When children who were at home with their parents, as I said, Howell had started the farm in St. Catherine, the first ganja farm.
Yes.
Howell, Leonard P. Howell, right?
Right.
Leonard P. Howell.
Founder of the, my listeners to know, we're talking about the founder of the Rastafarian movement in Jamaica.
In Jamaica and thereby the world.
Yes.
As we see it today, Leonard P. Howell was in New York at the time. Leonard P. Howell was a Marcus Garveyite.
Yes.
He was a Marcus Garveyite. And what happened was that Leonard P. Howell learned from Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and it's that ideology that gave him the essence to go and found the ganja farm up in St. Catherine.
Yes.
So it's a very amazing history. What then now? I'm not saying it was smooth sailing, because we know that Leonard P. Howell came under the scrutiny of the colonial authorities and the colonial armies, as I was talking about.
Yes, of course.
But then later on now, the worst part of it was in 1961, when Nixon in the United States of America. And I raise this because this is literally at the heart of the problem. Nixon was a president of the United States of America who was sent out of office because he was dishonest and he broke into the office of his competing political party. Everybody know about Nixon.
Watergate.
Or other reasons, the fact it was formed. And would you believe, Desmond, at this point in time, today, the United Nations are talking about almost reviving that international treaty, the 1961 treaty, and trying their very best to deny the United States from going forward with the legalization of ganja. Can you imagine that?
Yes, it is not difficult for me to understand that, you know, because these laws, some of these laws, you know, they are enacted to protect interest, you know.
Thank you, sir.
Right? They are enacted because for example, the pressure that ganja came under and is still under, it is to protect certain interests, right? I for example, you mentioned earlier about the big pharmacies. Yes. I remember Canasal, Dr. Lockhart. One of his problems was that the big pharmacies never want to handle the drug, because what they wanted to do was to buy it out. They were not willing for him to come in as a partner. They want to buy him out, and he wasn't for that. And that is why Canasal has not been on the big international market.
Right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. Your memory is good. So Dr. Lockhart, right?
Yes. Right.
They made the product. It was completed right at the university, and in trying to get it to go to worldwide marketing.
Yes.
The FDA, and you know who's the Food and Drug Administration in the United States of America, blocked Dr. Lockhart and Jamaica from putting that thing on the international market.
Yes, of course.
You couldn't be any more correct than the 100%, 110% I give you for that.
Right. So, what is happening now? I am sure, you know, it is to protect interest, you know, the big interest.
Yes.
And for all right, this is what I would like you to comment on now. For example, the banks are not keen. They're afraid to deal with the ganja industry because of the fact that they will face problems in the international banking system if they finance ganja.
Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So yes, what are you getting? What is the latest on that?
Well, what we know as a fact is you're very correct. What has happened is this, that it's called corresponding banking.
Yes.
Okay? And what happens is that Jamaica, corresponding bankers or banking, and other small countries, ironically, the way the banking and financial system of the world is set up, New York being one major center right there where all the banks, that's where you lodge your money, that's where the money goes to pay bills, etc., etc.
Right.
All right. So you're right. In order to block the upcoming, well, I would think it's ganja and other things for sure, this corresponding banking law that they passed is really a fallacy. It is an absolute terrifying situation. Why did they pass the corresponding banking situation? Because they did not want people to be able, as that was their excuse or their statement, to send money for violent purposes. The corresponding banking relationship came after that attack in New York when the planes crashed into the Empire State Building.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And the argument was before and after that it was an act committed by, in truth and in fact, they actually named the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the Middle East.
Yes, Bin Laden.
Yeah, well, yes, he was one of them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that crash of those planes into the tower in New York was orchestrated by a United States president in order to get back at the people who treated his father very badly. That is the argument, right?
Yes.
Can you imagine all of these things? What really happens in, as you rightly say, it's always big interest coming out to do what they want to do, and they have to get people who are striving to come forward to be put aside. You remember they went down to, they said that weapons of mass destruction are in the Middle East, and this is where they're coming from. And they built the platform, and the planes came and crashed into the United States in New York. And from that time, well, they celebrated it, and it went for a period of time. But even the American scholars and everybody and security people, they have tremendous, Desmond, as you would imagine, miles and miles of information, photographs, videos, everything. They have never seen the light of day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like Jackie Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy's husband was murdered in Texas. And Jackie Kennedy was told that, no, you're not writing any book, etc. And she left the United States of America and went to live in Greece. That's power and money. Mm-hmm. And these things that we have all had to encounter. So therefore, you're absolutely right on that. And when you hear the difficulties, we have to recognize, honestly, and move around that. We can't sit down and simplify it. Now, you're telling me about the banks today.
Yes.
Look at what banking has become because of this. First of all, you can't be a ganja farmer, let us say, and be financed to use the bank because that was other things put in the way.
Yes, the financing is you are black, and the banks could lose if banks, as the rules exist now. If banks do that, they can lose their licenses.
Exactly, but as you know, it's not just Jamaica that is in this predicament.
No.
All across South America, the banks also come under all of these difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
So the banks now have reached a point where, after doing all of this to us, what do I hear when I wake up in the morning? Bank of Nova Scotia has closed all its branches in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Bank of so-and-so has closed their branches in South America.
Yes.
Everybody's closing out the banks. And the people to wonder, how is the bank going to treat them? How are they going to bank now?
Yes. Yes. So there's a lot of difficulties on the way. But on the ground, you are... So what? Tell me some of the advances, some of the plans that the organization has in order to, liberate the small farmers.
Okay, very good. We actually have a meeting later this evening with as much people as possible who are in the business, right?
Yes.
So we want to address that. So this kind of give you a preview, and that helps us too. One of the critical things, of course, is how do we get small farmers and heritage farmers into the business. And Auburn Hill has put out, as we just discussed, a proposal.
Right.
If the conditions for all of that are, let us put it that way, satisfactory, and of course, it will help the farmers. We are not going to spoil that. We're going to see how and where you can help. But we also have, and we have been speaking about it, it's a particular point of interest with Paul Burke for a long time. We have proposed to the CLA and to the government of Jamaica that there be an arrangement where you have an industry, a specific time where there are incentives, and we propose to have a 2 to 3 year moratorium. In that time, you go and you encourage and you sign up and you find all the farmers who wish to join. They become licensed members, identified. So in a 2 to 3 year period, that moratorium can escalate the entry of small farmers, and that's what it is designed to do, to come into the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And over that period of time, you get a chance to register people, bring them in, have them identified, sort out the regulations of the CLA, which is holding back aspects like this. We have discussed this already, but that is coming out, and we want to get somewhere with that and to bring the farmers into the industry. And if there are other suitable plans, certainly, the more the merrier, because this is what is needed. We can't talk about plans and don't get the farmers in there.
Yes.
The second thing that we have on the table, Desmond, is this. It is broader than just ganja. The Ministry of Agriculture says it has billions of dollars for professional help and funding and for the Jamaica Agricultural Society. And we have already spoken to the Jamaica Agricultural Society and wish to work with them so that you would have a farming family, far more farmers in the field, because what is happening with all the money that we hear and the proposals for increasing our farming, we're not getting there. So therefore, since farmers are farmers, and some of the farmers who plant ganja can also plant cabbage, lettuce, tomato, yam, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, why do we not look at this thing to farm the production of more food in Jamaica, which is absolutely
necessary,
because right now we're in serious trouble.
Yes, of course, and we need to protect our food security. But Dickie, that tell me something now. What do you know about that company, that Jamaican company that imported the ganja from Canada? One of the things that came out, that the son of a popular politician is connected to that company. You know anything about that?
I've heard of it, but I don't have any proof. I don't know. I have heard the argument and the discussion to some extent, but I can't say yea or nay. I don't know, but certainly it will be whatever truth it is, it will eventually come out.
Yes.
As a YP, because right now everything is on the open. You know, people are really asking at this point in time what is happening.
Yes.
And the other thing that is important, very, very important, and Mr. Hill, Arvin spoke about this too, I think, on that thing that you sent me when he made the presentation in Parliament or at Jamaica House.
Yes.
He spoke about, of course, increasing exports. Correct?
Yes.
And that he would have to deal with that, and he has plans for increasing exports. But what made people very angry and observant now was that the process of the Canadian ganja coming to Jamaica caught everybody more or less. It leaked out, it came by surprise. As far as I can, as far as I'm being told. So consequently, it is totally illegal in the sense of international law. You can't have a legal international agreement of this kind where one country exports to the other and either does not give the same facility to the other country. So if Canada says, okay, we come in and this is what has happened, the Jamaican people don't know about it, and that is what happened with all the growers in Jamaica. When they found out about it, they got very angry. Because if you are growing here and you are paying a lot of money for your farm and you don't get the chance to export, whether it's to Canada or anywhere for that matter, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not.
Another legal aspect to it is it could be dumping, and it cannot work that way. So we have to address that issue as well.
Dickie, I want to thank you very much for this discussion, and we have to keep this topic on the front line, you know, right? Because
everybody's telling me no, and I'm happy to hear you. I luckily I know you long enough that I can say, boy, this one.
No, seriously, yes,
it's true.
It is one of the industries that can do a lot of good for the Jamaican economy, and we have to ensure that the Jamaicans, benefit from it.
Yeah, that's why, everywhere I go recently, in the last 2 weeks, people coming up to me and accusing me and say, what you doing? You're not doing anything.
All right.
You're going to sit there and make people come and take over the ganja industry in Jamaica?
Okay. All right, and we can't allow that.
All right, cool.
Okay, we want to thank, that's the president, Mr. Dickie Crawford, president of the Ganja Growers and Producers Association, you know. And we're talking about the ganja industry. We have to keep our focus on that. That's our product, and we must benefit. Let us take a break. Coming up next is food security, and we'll be talking to some farmers down in St. Elizabeth. Let us take a break.
I will ever love and trust in His presence daily. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all to Jesus. I surrender. Humbly at His feet I bow. Worldly pleasures all forsaken. Take me, Jesus, take me now. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all to Jesus. I surrender. Make me Savior, holy Christ. Let me feel Thy Holy Spirit. Truly know that Thou art mine. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. Oh, I surrender all. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. Oh, I surrender all. I surrender all. All things are possible if you only believe. Sitting at home all alone, wondering what tomorrow may bring. He of little faith, dig deeper within. Healing the sick, He raised the dead, He walked on the sea. He worked miracles if you only believe. Only believe, only possible if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. Lord, show me the way to do your will, and I will obey. I want to be your servant. On my knees, I pray. Lord, give me strength to carry on. Please lead the way, because I believe. Yes, I believe. Oh, I believe that all things are possible if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. Sitting at home all alone, wondering what tomorrow may bring. He of little faith, dig deeper within. Healing the sick, he raised the dead, he walked on the sea. He worked miracles if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. Only believe. Only believe. All things are possible if you only believe. If you only believe.
Hey, it's a girl Shensia with a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yangs, everyone say wear a mask where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you down flat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh, 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 oh. Sanitizer gets hospitalized. Fight the virus, then fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you not have it. You can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you not have it. You can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
This is a message, Lord. I've got to say to you, I'm so tired of living a humble and country life. When you were attracted to the bright city lights, you had a lot of money to spend on pretty girls and lovely things, just living it up as if you were a king. You had a whole lot of friends that you treated the the money went out, they didn't stick around this time. There was a famine on the land, and you didn't really have a dime. So you had to go out to stay hand and feed with swine. But I will rise and go to my Father. I will rise and go to my Lord. Though I'm not worthy to be your son, but I could still be your servant. So I will arise and go to my Lord. There was a time when you realized that you went wrong, when you found out how material things have gone. You've been living like a rolling stone, no more will you roam. For there's a welcome for the prodigal son back home. I will rise and go to my Father. I will rise and go to my Lord. Though I'm not worthy to be your son, but I could still be your servant. I will arise and go to my Lord. When the son had chose to take that journey home, he didn't know his father would have compassion.
Yes, back with you. It's time for food security. And we have with us Mr. Owen Scarlett, and he is the CEO of the Agri-Industrial Corporation, the Ministry of Agriculture. And we have farmers, Mr. Ian James. Mr. James?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
yes. And we have Mr. Who's the other gentleman there again? Hello?
Leslie McCurdy.
Yes, Mr. Leslie McCurdy. So we have Mr. Leslie McCurdy, Mr. Ian James, two farmers from St. Elizabeth, and we have Mr. Owen Scarlett from the Ministry of Agriculture. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Food Security. And,
Good evening, sir.
yes. And,
Good afternoon.
yes. And Mr. McCurdy, Mr. Scarlett, you were on this program, the last time you were on this program, we had some farmers. We were talking to some farmers down in St. Elizabeth. We have these are two new farmers. When I said new, right. I mean new to the program.
Last time we have Mr. Right.
Right. I spoke to them last week, and again they raised several critical issues affecting their ability to carry out their productive process down there. Mr. McCurdy, start out there. You want to just tell us again, for example, some of the issues that you're having? Well, first of all, we know the main issue, Mr. Scarlett, the main problem they're having is water. But apart from water, they spoke to me about how, for example, for example, fertilizer, farming, things for farming inputs, and the difficulty that they have in accessing. Gentlemen, you want to just, tell us some of those difficulties. Starting with you, Mr. McCurdy.
Oh, yes, sir. Welcome. The problem that I have, sometimes when the fertilizer is given out, sometimes them give people who never work ground, never know a thing about ground. You understand?
Yes.
So, I can't get no assistance. No time. So, and when you look on some people where, as I said before, where I get the assistance, they don't know nothing about ground. So we have to continue go backward, more and forward at all times.
Yes. And you are where? You are where? Your farm is where? Where are you located, Mr. McCurdy?
In the Pigeon Plains area, Bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon Liquor Park water resource that I use.
Right, okay. Mr.
So right in that zone there, that belt here.
Yeah, Mr. Ian James.
Yes, sir.
Do you have those concerns?
Well, we don't have no water this time in Newcomb Valley.
Yes.
We don't have any water.
Yes. But what about accessing the agricultural inputs like fertilizer when those are available? Do you find it difficult?
We don't get no access to them now. I hear me yesterday come just like come up for yesterday come.
Yes.
Nobody don't know who is a farmer. He go to politician, not farmer.
Okay.
You understand? He go to politician, not farmer. So we have nobody back on the politician.
Okay.
The bigger man in the thing.
So when the fertilizer go to other people and then those people what? So sell it.
Sell it because them don't know farmer.
Yeah, most time and sell it.
Because them don't know farmer. Most time people tell on farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like you look the farmer by name and say, well, you get 2 bags and the farmer get 2 bags.
Yeah.
And we know you're a farmer. It don't work like that. You just come out, woman get it, nurse get it, doctor get it, but who she is, the one she is a part of it. You understand?
The political football.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
No, so what the Ministry of Agriculture announced last week or week before that they have provided, I think, millions of dollars to assist in getting water to the and to the farmers to get water. Now, have you been getting water since over the last week or so? Mr. McCurdy?
No, sir. The water thing there, it's not for me, but I've more for Mr. Ian James, and I can tell you directly, those water are just to people drink.
No, we don't no farming water.
You know, get the farming water like that.
Okay.
And when you look on what provided, it just could have delivered. If it is $100 million, when you check your 63 constituency and when you look, it's less than $1.5 million. So it's difficult to even come out a certain circle with this money, for as I see. So it just come like, it just would have provided for drinking. Who want liquor water of the drinking? You can't make a drum out. We have domestic
water here in Newcomb Valley. We have domestic water, liquor water, but not field farming. Not field farming.
Yes.
No, not field farming.
Okay. All right. So water remain your number one, both of you, your number one problem, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And sorry, you were telling me the last time we spoke about. By the way, both of you, how far you are from that the grace.
Not far.
Probably about 5 miles.
Yeah.
Not far.
Not far, probably 5 miles.
So therefore, you would have access to market your products at that location.
Well, they're not signing me, They're not signing me. I can't produce any amount of scallion. And every time I check the man who something to me, I'm a neighbor. One of the man who do the grounds work and do the what you call it there. Yeah, him a neighbor, just the main the road part us. And every time I check him to sign me up, when he say January next year, and when I check him, he say gone for October already. So he just now sign me up. A man from China come here and have sign up and I buy back the product cheap to carry back for sell at the full price. Just in a full one country, full one parish and something. They just a stone throw for me. But then I sign me up. So again, I would have called it just no add up to way people do the same way.
Out of 100 farmers, race now have 10 farmers.
Yeah, man. Sometimes out you see the goods come there and something. It just come like it's if you're just not a part of certain things, you just not work. It's a society thing a bit. for as I see.
Because grace by melon, and you can tell one or two man got the contract with your melon go there. One or two, yeah, buy plan you could not get back there.
Buying toes now wait a scallion, and I can't get a pound to sell around there directly to myself. And I register farmer everything. And every time you check it, you say no, somebody else. And when you say the man from China, buy him no worker ground.
Yes.
Him only buy up the product and sell it back to Grace same way from different farmers.
Okay.
So then I allow the farmer to go with the product directly. Them rather, I could say to sell $70 a pound around there. A man come and offer a farmer $40. Where the farmer could have go there and get the $30 just as going through. Yes. So at the same time, the middleman or the farmer get wiped out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Me personally have melon right now, and I can't go against with it. I have to tell somebody who will go against. I cannot go there with it.
Okay.
Yeah. It don't help farmer here. It don't help farmer.
There's no help in terms of that. Listen.
No. The man Mr. Golab is more help more than grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Scarlett?
Yes. Good afternoon, listeners, and Mr. McCurdy and Mr. James.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes, man. I've heard your cry on the ground, and from where we sit from the agriculture and fisheries and from agri-investment corporation. Our ability in terms of flexibility, we need more marketing outlets. One of the mandates that is given to agri-investment corporation forward in terms of our amendment, in terms of PAC, was amended in June 2021, is to build out more marketing outlets, of our marketing officers on the ground and how can we really provide and facilitate these farmers on the ground. And this is our objective. And we started out with you mentioned your liquor park, and liquor park have national irrigation provided within Beacon Park and Park here.
Yeah, man, Beacon Liquor Park. I'm a part of
irrigation scheme, right. And currently we know that we are building out, trying to build out a feasibility study to bring water from Black River for the Petro Plain. And that is a very massive irrigation project going back all the way to mountainside, Flagaman, So we are in the process of getting, consultants to start to build out some of these design and so forth for that area. So we know that what the farmers basically are in that area in order to have sustainability. Also, currently, I know the Minister of Agriculture last week have announced to the Minister that we have a drought mitigation program where we are basically providing water through the National Irrigation Commission and through the Agri-Investment Corporation. We are providing some grass mulch of farmers within the Lagwood area and the New Forest area. We know that we have limitations. We never have that in terms of quantity to basically to supply to all the farmers, but we know we have started that program, and it's good that the ministry have rolled out this drought mitigation program going forward. And from our point, Agri-Investment Corporation is playing a very important part. We also, going forward, the SS Valley project is a critical project, so we are also supplying, building out an irrigation scheme there. We are also going to build out some market infrastructure where farmers can have their product processed, cold storage. We can do pepper, and we can do pepper mash, we can do puree with your watermelon and your pineapple. So we are looking at that going into the future. And that project is said to basically close out in 2025. So we are working very hard. We understand in terms of Mr. McCurdy and Mr. James what is happening on the ground. In terms of when we're getting inputs, we know that the input is never in large quantity. But what we encourage is that farmers are basically farm cooperative or government. They work as a group. They work as an individual. When you work as a group, it's much easier to reach these farmers and target these farmers. For example, in New Forest, the first year, I was able to target some farmers within the agri-park area in terms of providing them input in terms of some fertilizer. So again, we want to work also with our main stakeholders and the Rural Agriculture Development Authority who's on the ground and know they have a large number of farmers to deal with. But again, the system is not perfect, but we are basically working in terms of some level of flexibility and in terms of some stability. And we continue to focus on our external farmers, who are the one who are driving the development within the sector. And as we mentioned earlier, food security is very important. And from the ministry point of view, we know we value all of these farmers on the zone, and we don't want anybody to be difficult, to be left out. So from our side, we are providing this leadership where we are deeply concerned about the farmers, what's happening on the ground sector with the drought mitigation now. We're working on that, how we can get water into the area. We're also looking at how we can build out market infrastructure. And we see how close we can work also with some of the fertilizer companies. We know earlier in the year we worked with Fersan when fertilizer price was up. They were able to bring down the fertilizer price. So we have to see how we can support these farmers. We can't also look at the National Irrigation Commission, how we can build some catchment here with these areas where we cannot build well. And where we have a river, we want to see if we can maximize output in this area.
Gentlemen, you have any question for Mr. Scarlett?
No, sir. The only thing I could have said, if him got access to fertilizer and support, he must can come down here and see what we are doing and help us on the ground for our balling for murder in terms of assistance. And if even God can assist us, we're so happy with it.
Yes. But you heard what he said about coming together. In other words, all the farmers in your area. Yes, I am sure that what you are telling us about is not, it affects a lot of farmers. Right. So is it possible that the farmers can farm themselves into a group? Is it possible for that to happen?
No, farmers can farm themselves in a group, but for us we see right around what the political director them do. They have their own grouping already as well. We said name is there, etc., etc. So when this thing come, or when they invite them down to a church hall and so, they see all 20 people in a group already, right in our area. Yeah. But them not check we to go in the group because them just got a political football is going. Yeah. So you know exactly say you're out of it. Team like when the fertilizer come also, they must sell it back because most of them don't in agriculture. They're in different fields, but they are getting the product.
You mean the people who are in the groups? They are not farmers?
Yes.
They're a politician, not farmer.
Yeah.
You understand?
So therefore, I would suggest that you would know, both of you now, would know farmers who are genuine farmers who are not benefiting from these allocations. So I am suggesting that you form a group and if you form that group, you can get in contact with Mr. Scarlett. Mr. Scarlett, am I giving the right advice?
Yes, you're on the right feed. And what we want to inform Mr. McCurdy and Mr. Jamie, that probably, Agro Investment Corporation, we have a business development unit. And that unit's responsibility and our cluster coordinator within our agro park is responsible to cluster these farmers into different society where these are registered with the friendly society. So these farmers can have their members properly having monthly meeting, quarterly meeting. Farmers are showing their dues. They have a president, they have a treasurer, they have a secretary. So they are properly organized and structured. What we want is structure. What we have in the agriculture sector within some of the rural area, we have a lot of individual farmers working. And that's where the problem is. We want to put everybody not just work as a group, but they're going to work as a team. They are mentioning the fertilizer. What we do from Agro Investment Corporation, we have an agreement from the outline the criteria that we use to issue the fertilizer to the farmers. They must be a registered rather farmer, They must be an active farmer. And those farmers have to sign their name, their contact with the email, the phone number, and we do a verification. a verification of these farmers and make sure these are the farmers who would basically have on this registered list. So we maintain a registry of these farmers so we can be in constant contact. What I want from Mr. James and Mr. McCurdy was in Liquor Park here is to we can invite us agro-invest to a stakeholder meeting where we can sit and have dialogue with these farmers and because show them the benefits that they can earn from the agriculture sector.
So, Mr. McCurdy, you heard that. So, if, for example, that what he's saying is, Mr. Scarlett, is that if you people just form a group, organize the farmers, the genuine farmers, and then you can invite him, and whether him or it's whoever is delegated to come, but they will present themselves and have discussions with you gentlemen down there.
I don't interest in that party.
Why?
No, I don't interest in that party because nobody not come together. They not come together like that. You just need somebody to go and check out the farmer, then find out who's the farmer, get the farmer name, see where you farm, and whatever she done, you'll know who she done it to. But calling group and making group, it not gonna work. You can try to over time and it don't work.
Yeah, but what you are saying is that somebody, let us say then, from the agro investment, must come into the area and then investigate and find out who are the farmers?
Yes.
So why is it so difficult to have the farmers? The genuine farmers.
It's hard work. I used to go to meeting before. It's hard work. I go to work in the European division. It's hard work. It's time when they meet the car, sometimes I search at 12 o'clock when someone at work. And it never work out right to me yet.
Yep.
It never work out right to me yet.
Yes, but I am suggesting that yes, in the past it might fail, but I don't think you should just write it off.
Because I don't really don't interest there. I remember one time I lose some onion, and next time I call a meeting at the state of beach, pick up in church, and I'm all active with, and I don't hear nothing about it, so I don't really interest in that party.
Yes.
No, I don't interest in that party. I don't stomach for interested. I don't interest in that party.
Mr. Mack, you don't think the farmers, you can, get the farmers together?
It's difficult because what you think, most farmers out here go into group and it don't reach nowhere as well. Yeah, man. That's something we try several different time and it don't reach anywhere. When you hear say this man is coming, that man is coming, and they don't come, so people just get frustrated about it. And more than one time. More than one time.
And you know, no interest in it, not going ahead, so you don't get frustrated about it.
Yeah, so people don't really with it that level again.
If the man got my name and come look for me on my yard and say, where you farm? And I say, my farm here, what you need? I want to give him my fine. And if he can access me, something access him, but I don't know, I don't go for nobody.
Well, you see, why I made that suggestion is how, because you are saying what exists now is not helping the farmers.
No.
So I was just suggesting something that could, I think, could work in the interest of the farmers, so that the farmers can get what is available for them. And then out of that, they organize themselves to get themselves more marked into that they can get their goods marketed. So, for example, you are not able to access the market at Grace because whoever is responsible not responding to you. But what Mr. Scarlett, one of the things that what he can do is that he can organize the farmers so that they get their goods properly marketed. Am I correct, Mr. Scarlett?
Yes, you're also correct. And listen to Mr. McCurdy and Mr. James, right?
Yeah.
In terms, it's a matter of what we call, adaptive culture or unadaptive culture. A number of farmers do fall in a group of unadaptive culture where they tend to want to work by themselves. And that's why I'm using the example of the SS Valley project. For that project to be basically funded by the Caribbean Development Bank and the UKC, we have farmers booked, so we have to have data information where these farmers are properly organized for this project to basically be successful and to get the funding. So going into the Beacon area and the Liquor Park here, we're going to build out the pleasure plane.
And in Newcomb Valley.
Right, Income Valley. We have to have what we call the production zone and agro park, and these farmers have to basically be in groups where we provide management. We have a management structure where we have a park manager, we have a cluster coordinator within the area, and we have a technology transfer officer. So we'll be providing the leadership, and we have that structure. So farmers can see somebody on the ground daily to communicate with. What we have now, we have a situation where these farmers are working individually by themselves. They're doing their own production, they're seeking their own market, they're seeking their own finance, they're seeking ways to get input. Because what we can do, we can bring in the input supplier to come and have, seminars, focus group discussion. And so it's a dynamic way going forward, and we basically have to sit down and get all the farmers properly organized and orderly structure within the agriculture sector, where we provide management where we can optimize production and productivity.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something?
Yes, of course. Yes.
They have one of those groups in Newcomb Valley here at the school. And all the time I know they having a meeting, somebody comes when I say 3 or 4 when I walk together, you say I'm meeting them ago. Nobody never invite me to a meeting. Nobody ever call me and say you gotta have a meeting. Only time I know I when I say 30 man ago. And it's like about 20-15 man all the while them go. Them want know. No man ever tell me as a farmer yet. And I have friends who go too. And then man invite me and say one farmer meet over there. The minister going to be there. The man from Rada going to be there. Nobody ever tell me there's a farmer yet. Nobody ever tell me so. They make group there right now. You understand? And you don't help me.
Yeah. So tell me something now. You are a member. The existing group that is in the community right now. You are a member of that group, right?
No, I'm not a member because I don't know nothing about it. I'm going to keep and start meeting them at school. Nobody tell me what it's about. Nobody said to me, you need to join as a farmer or what. Nobody said to me. I certain people in it.
Yeah.
And I want topic, I want a friend in it. And they benefit from it too. But as you say, it's a super politics.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah. But so you heard what Mr. Scarlett said, though? The question is, I would like to know, how can you both of you, benefit, put yourself in a position so that you can benefit from what he is offering or what is available? What you suggest? How you think? What's the best way from your perspective?
Well, the only way I think I could have benefit is if him have a list of a farm and he so much congress or whatever to it. And if you want to invite you want meet now whatever, but differently, I know invite no farmer. That means you could call you and say, Mr. James, I'm going to have a meeting to answer. With interest or whatever, we could come out whatever. But like we come and do with farmer here, so it's not going to hurt.
Yes.
Don't say my first about that.
Well, I go in a several groups and I get left behind. When there's something come, I don't ever know about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Just get left behind.
So
get it. So
I have the person I can have no meeting experience.
No, I go in a group and I get left behind, brother. Yes. Jippos come and cheer up right around me.
What?
Man want tell me say no, I don't qualify to get it because he never sent down by directly.
You see man drive by the van load, who was on jump and everything and I never get nothing yet. Nothing. Free upon everything. By the van load.
Yeah, and I just say it gone, I just hear say gone, and that the hand brother, and it don't reach the hand where it's going on.
Right.
Yeah, man, so difficult.
Yeah. So, gentlemen,
sir.
Yes, So let me ask now. Although I know that the drought and the water is hampering your production, but how are you managing? Tell us how are you coping with the situation, the existing situation right now?
Well, it's tough, but you just have to fight the battle for my, as I said, in the irrigation era, bacon liquor box, so, the water system not the best at the moment because you can drought, but I fight along with it.
Yeah.
Well, with me on my side, on the Newcomb Valley side, I plant 5 square million there a day. And because of the water and the drought, I never put in more than 700 1 liter melon of it. That can't even claim expense.
Yeah.
And I buy 1,500 of water, stock water. And I have a next little piece now that's about 3 square. That's all make me have no make a little water pan. Because you can't do no farming, so you cut the farming way back.
Yeah.
You see, if you try to save the life with something, you have to find certain things. But if that farming you do, you can't do it here, so.
Yes.
So, Mr. McCurvey, he's a little bit better than me. He might get a little no and then on night time. But when I get a little drink and you have to spirit and take some time and put on the ground.
Yes.
Yes. And if you go beard, you have to make sure you look after the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want some drink, you have to look after them to get some drink, so you got one outside.
Yeah. You're a melon producer.
Yeah, man. It's farm everything.
Yes. And so therefore, all the other farmers in your area there now, they must be having similar difficulties.
Same problem. Same problem. We in Newcomb Valley, we produce one of the best melon and tomato, cucumber, canned pepper and them things down here.
Yes.
Because we are the real red dot around here. Yeah.
But I would imagine that right now, not much of those are being planted.
No. You man to plant half acre and cut them to 2 square, 3 square as what to do right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see. Right. Mr. McCurdy, how you are coping?
Yeah, as I said before, that I got little water. So sometimes, as I said, I would have better in terms of more Mr. James, in terms of water.
Yes.
Sometimes the marketing is my problem. As I said, I plant skillion, but some of my time I could have got thousands of wait. But right now you have grace when something that I got somewhere could have grown there right now, but through friend and company, and now we're getting there, so. As I say, I try to get around here, and every time it's like I try to go through a door and somebody else shut it down. So I have to just fold my hand and stay outside.
Yes. You cannot gain access to the market.
You can't get it, you understand? So I just have to fold my hand.
Marketing is not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I have melon free for like 2 weeks, and I have to check. From last week, and I beg him to set me down, fix them for me. In 2 weeks, from before, because you know, asking from before, I'm begging him to pick up and you still not take it.
Yes.
Even though more people that I try to think from earlier to get the market.
Yeah. But tell me something now, on the question of marketing. What about it is difficult, you say, to get the farmers to organize into a group? But what about organizing yourselves now? I mean, and I'm talking about the farmers, the real farmers. Organizing yourself so that you can, market your products. Mr. Scarlett, what are some of the advice you have for them as it relates to marketing? Mr. Scarlett?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you hear me now?
Yes.
So we recognize the situation that is on the ground in terms of marketing of the agricultural produce. And we are saying option is basically here to how we can lead the direction and going forward into the future. We say we have to meet these farmers early in the new financial year between end of April so we can have dialogue, because we need to have dialogue on the ground and understand. You cannot have produce that is ready in Central here, and the rest of the island doesn't have any produce. I know Portland probably doesn't have enough watermelon now. Kingston doesn't have enough watermelon now. But we have to have that camaraderie, that farmers to basically fight the situation, to basically work. How this works out in the rest of the Caribbean countries, such as in Dominican Republic. I went there about 7-8 months ago, and these farmers, they work in cluster of groups. So they know when X particular produce is ready, they know when to hit the market. So everybody is working. So that strong communication on the ground is very important. I want to start to engage all these farmers within that census built, because food security is real and it is very serious going forward. So we have to bring everybody together and basically see how we can change some of the, meet, we know the culture on the ground, but we have to meet everybody halfway as so we can do it. And I would advise that these farmers that we have to sit our stakeholder meeting and see how we can start, put them together, and then how we can get them registered with the cooperative society. And that is the only way we're going to move forward, because we have to see agriculture as a business.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Gentlemen, both of you, is there a cooperative society in your area?
Like the credit union or?
No, like for example.
Liquor park cooperative.
Yes, all right. Tell us.
No.
Tell us. Rather, I'm just trying to find out what organization is present in your community. Rather
it's at Santa Cruz.
Okay, all right.
Nearest to us at Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Upon 12 miles, 13 miles.
So RADA is the only organization that take care of the interests of farmers in your area.
Yes, the only organization.
Yeah.
No corporate society around here.
Yes, okay. And Mr. Scarlett, they could work through RADA or...
Yes, because RADA farm them into PMOs. They farm into PMO groups. So these farmers, there's a matter of using leadership in terms of techniques of and communication on the ground. We have to provide some level of training to overcome these resistance to change. Because, effectively, we have to address some of these human, because it can create some negative impact if we do not work together. It is very important from a leadership point of view that we start to get and communicate on the benefits. We have to bring in the youth and the women within the community to be a part of that group.
Yes.
Not only farmer, you have your wife at home, you have your son and daughter. You have to be a part of the solution. They understand the technology, how to use the smartphone and how to communicate. So we have to bring them into the picture also.
Yes, sir. So 12, you said Mr. McCurdy and Mr. James, you said the RADA office is 12 miles away. So officers from RADA, they come into your community though?
Once a while.
Once a while?
Once a while.
Okay.
So last time I do one over a year now.
Over a year. Right. So, and when they come whenever they come, they visit the farms and the farmers.
Yeah, but sometimes a special farmer then go to
some farmer, where they're going.
Some farmer. Them send out from the office directly to whoever.
Yeah.
Okay. So my time I just send out directly back to that and etc. So,
I see. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Right. The last, I don't remember if I had raised the issue of predial larceny during the last discussion we had. Are you gentlemen troubled by predial larceny in your area?
I personally don't have a problem in my zone with predial larceny. Okay. With me personal, my product would that I farm. People with goat and so have that problem, but I'm not a goat farmer. I have I'm a vegetable farm, and we don't have the problem in my area directly.
Okay.
No, I don't have no problem, and I hear nobody bawl about that part.
Mr. James.
The cattle farmer have a problem, for them. We take you up on the banking side and anyway at all. Yeah.
On the farming side, it don't too bad with me on my side. I'm man, I see food, I see to something, but not every time. But when you come on the goat or so.
Or the cattle farmers have a hard time.
Yeah, man, the cattle farmers.
The people have empty some goats in our friend, not too far from here, so. And not much go around me again, I took up everything far around me as far as so, but I don't raise anything.
Okay.
But I was paying for my thing, everybody when you're some goat. I used to one, I used to be about this dozen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bad in the area, but that's not really. No, you got no solution on the two of that. Because when I get me first get ahead, then sleep and then get them deal on it again.
They do what?
They hide them face when they catch them, so them face and they hide them 2 years, they done with it. So that not going to stop. That not going to stop.
Yes.
No, that not going to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that don't wait for us done out that. Who that know the goat meat can't buy because who the goat start, the goat meat can't buy.
Yes.
You understand? Because as I can tell you, if I go to find and call name, how much man lose goat around me? Because I don't raise I don't lose none. Right now. And I just say I don't raise none because I can't manage it.
Yeah, man.
I can't manage it.
But I would need a long time, so. So I can't bother with that part.
No, so I can't manage
really, a man might just, and I really, with the melon and stuff, sometimes them kind of fear certain things.
Yeah.
Struggle with the melon to pack you up and etc. etc.
Yeah. And the
goat, one man can haul 5 goats.
Yeah, man.
And the vehicle is there right there to put them in, so it's not a hackling.
Yes. But to become more difficult to steal melons.
Yeah, man, because you have to go pick and pack up and everything. Anything in the picking world, am I run for it,
Yes.
But the voting just grab him and run with him.
Yes, of course.
You tell all them do to the goat.
Not big deal, them I do it now, man. So, that discouraging right about now.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, the other question I would like to pose to you, both of you, is this one. Now, right now we are spending a lot of money. The country is spending $1 billion annually to import food. Now, from where you sit, what do you think? There are lots of, we are importing food that we can cultivate, we can plant.
Yeah.
What do you think should be done in order to have to get the farmers to produce more of these foods so that we can reduce our import bill? Mr.
Help the farmer.
Yeah.
Help the farmer who wants to farm.
Yes.
That I say help the farmer who wants to farm.
Go on the ground and look what's going on if you want to make a move in a proper way.
Yes.
Because it's not everybody wants to farm now, so look at the farmer, then the farmer who wants to farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I help the farmer.
Show them a way and something, but you can't just I said the import bill and this and that and that all the time. I said that, and them now follow the instruction of the farmer. Yeah. And then I go up on the ground and say, all right, wow, the farmer for plant 20 acre potato here, so 40 acre pumpkin, etc., go down the line, for whatever. I would stop it. Just the thing been just talking, and now reach nowhere.
Yeah. Because we not take me plant 5 because 6 potatoes as long as I want to get part of it.
Exactly the point.
Right?
No, nothing for that.
You went to your man 3-5 a day to go plant and to go reap it. And when it's going to start at 20 dollars home. Check how much
I know market. If you want to get to sell, it's a bad and not too bad. When say, and just take you up and go to a location and you get the half of your hand. Say, all right, because you get it, you're $40 pound. And you know exactly where you are at before.
Yeah.
You see? That is the problem we have right about now. We don't seriously do what we do.
Yes.
We don't serious.
Yeah,
and we will get left behind. Continue.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. We need, in other words, we need more organization.
Yeah. Yes, from the top to the bottom.
Right.
Yes. Sit with who is from and work it out and spend the money upon them. More than $1 billion a year. Man. Half of that, if them go into agriculture with half of that proper
Right now,
I reduce that every year. Them I reduce $500 million till it phase out.
Right now, I into Chilani more time, and most yam plant at Chilani.
Yes.
And them your balls is the cheap, but actually it's a sell. It's a sell. Everybody it's a food because the yam is cheap, but it's still selling. That's the problem with the so. You understand? It's still about, even though a company say cheap, it's still a sell. Everybody like the yam sell.
Yeah, man, sell. Yeah. And then got a car where it have to sell, and it's a send overseas.
Yes, that's what free shipment. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, I can see that. But you people don't have the kind of marketing facilities to get rid of your products.
Right. No. And food vegetable can't stay more than a week like that.
Yes.
Because nowhere to put it in.
Right.
Lettuce, biggie side of lettuce, £1,000 this week, and when you look, everything just spread off. But nobody wants to say, all right, come on, about put it up, or we are going, or the government are going to take it, put it up themselves to sell it back. 2 weeks time is short. They have to go overseas, go buy it. Or some of them and them have you out Japan for them fridge, and I just saw it just continue.
And when you go foreign and buy the apple, that apple 2 years back, the apple reach. The apple reach this year, you know, get it this year. You read 2 years back, I'm put in a cold storage.
Well, that is the reason why they are preparing the Essex Valley complex, because that should take care of those things. They will have facilities for storage. They will have facilities to produce process. Yes.
Pure and all that.
Yes. Right.
Well, when I say grace was coming here, I will be glad. And I used to say grace, I found out much year now, I think grace about 8 years or 9 years now. When I start by calling, start by $15 pound, and still that $15 pound, and that's more than what they take from you. Yeah, and I think stop it, and many more people stop it.
Yeah, man.
I don't think you have 500 plants for grace right now.
Why? Because they stop buying it?
They don't stop buying, but it waste of time to people, because they're not paying no price, and they might reject half of it. Yeah, so and they're not paying no price, and reject half of it. That's it. Just the last is also, so I see I'm going to happen when they build the place same way. They not take no tomato, they not take no melon and all, so.
Yeah.
I thought I'm seeing, you know.
Yeah, but if no, because if the farmers are aware of what they want, the standard that they want, I'm sure the farmers will produce the goods to meet the standard. I would imagine that they'll say, well, then tomato must be of a certain size, what it must be, cabbage must, and therefore all of the farmers would over time become aware of what the market wants, and therefore they would produce to meet the market.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, that like with the callaloo, if grace, after a period of time, the farmers would realize the quality of the callaloo that the grace would want. And then therefore, you just have to produce the quality.
I bring some quality of callaloo that grace to it. You don't have a grade better than that. And I still $15, and I take it 2 weeks to get your money, and the man cut you, and the man carry it, want the money same time. They don't help you out. No help to it. The man cut you, don't want the money. Yeah. And I get 2 weeks to get your money, so you go down, no take long come to you. And a lot of go around, and they don't really know how to do farmers.
You don't get paid same time. You get
No, you don't get paid same time. 2 weeks.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for the first time, you go 1 month and so you get paid.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go second time, you start getting every 2 weeks and such.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
No consistency. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I know people are farm for them. Everything they got grace. Some set of people.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you go to university, that's space in there.
Yeah, man. I tell you, say it just block off by certain set of people one time.
I know people that farm for grace, straight, and they have no problem with them product.
Yeah, Mr. James, Mr. McCurdy. And this is why from Agro Investment Corporation, we are building out more market outlets. You know, we are putting in more processing facility in every project here. So we are developing these projects across the island. Benefits from the SS Valley project. We have soon to come the Pedro project to basically build out so we can solve these problems. So we are, from the ministry point of view of Agro Investment, we are basically finding the solution to some of these problems, you know. And basically learning, the lesson learned going forward is how do we go forward by communicating and better coordination on the ground and to solve some of these complex problems. So we have to share the vision going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you soon. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Walker. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I never said anything.
Oh,
Mr. James, I say hope for the best. We see.
Okay. Well, that's what we have to do. We have to just hope for the best and do whatever we can in order to make these things work, because as you gentlemen will understand clearly that food security is a very big issue, you know.
Yeah,
it's a big issue because and this is a global situation right now. And therefore we in Jamaica have to do whatever we can so that we are always in a position to feed ourselves. Right? Because it is likely, you know, we might face a situation where you can have the money to buy the food and it is not available, you know.
Well,
yes.
That's why I said the government need to come out and share and need to come out and identify what is the best for the country.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes.
Them people try and come out and share and say, boy, we're going to set up that part there, set up there, so, and do it quickly, because you as what you say, have the money and don't food. That very bad, eh?
Yes.
That's so bad, you know.
Look, for instance, see potato right now. 150 for it in the ground. How much man can buy it at market?
Okay.
200 right, because enough man not plant it again, because when they plant it, can't it sell. So when I just few man got to the grand share deer, so I don't think anybody can buy a phone right now.
Yeah, because it fall back again when you have it. If they gone to $25 a pound, you gone to something. I'm not just folding on and say, Chuck, make it go on where we want to go, because me not get half a hit.
Okay.
Same thing was what I say, no, marketing and a government problem that.
Yes.
It's not a farmer problem anymore with that, you know. Nobody can solve farmer problem, because farmer can do more and farm the produce and look on it rotten back to the ground.
Yes.
So,
you can't do nothing more enough. You can't put it on your head and run up and down. So want this and that and that. It can't. It's something if you can't go market at the same problem.
And what we send you right now is about experience, you know, experience. Not like we hear or we wonder. Something happened to me recently, I think here.
Yeah, man.
I have pumpkin since here to let us know what to do with them. I have my accelerator at the last of them.
Yes, sir.
Mr. James and Mr. McCurdy.
Yes, sir.
We'll go back to that period now. Communication. The market, things out in the marketplace is market driven, and we're not communicating. And that is where the problem is, you know. You are going to plant a particular product, right? First on the ground, the rather officer often know that, listen, X amount of production of onion or watermelon or scallion is going to take place in Liquor Park, so that is communicated to the market.
Yeah.
Now you have to utilize, because I know within rather they are putting a technology where they use market linkage, where they're using the system to link the farmers to the buyer, and also, so it is very, very easy for us to communicate, because we have to utilize the technology, a number of persons are going in terms of what we call e-business, where we communicate using with different, the simple smartphone, we can communicate. Mr. McCurdy can come to start at agri-investment and say, listen, I'm going to put in X amount of watermelon, and I can tell you, listen, there's too much watermelon on the market, so we're going to do production schedule. So Mr. James is planting in March. Mr. McCurdy, you plant April. Farmer Brown, you plant May. But everybody can plant at the same time, because you're going to have a surplus in the market where you do not have the proper infrastructure such as storage, because storage is critical within the marketing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you very, very, very much. This will be next week. We will continue this discussion again. I want to thank you. Mr. Owen Scarlett, the acting CEO of Agri Investment Corporation, Farmer Mr. Ian James, and Mr. Leslie McCurdy. Yes, gentlemen, sir. Thank you very much for your time. And as we agree on this program, that we have to organize ourselves so that we can continue to produce food, so that we have food for ourselves, our family, and for the country, and also to export. Thank you very, very much, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. James.
Yes. That was food security. And, you heard what is happening on the ground there. Need a lot of organization so that the farmers can, organize themselves better so that they can produce, sell, and feed the people. Let us go for a break.
And when other houses crumble, might be strong. Live for Jesus. That's what matters, yeah. Got to see the light in me and come along. Got to see the light in Georgia and come along. Got to see the light in me and come along. Got to see the light in me and come along. Got to see the bright shining light and come along. Got to see the light in me and come along. Come along. Got to see the
Hey, it's a girl Shensia with a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yangs, everyone say wear a mask, where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay your down flat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh, 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 oh. Sanitizer, get hospitalized. Fight the virus, then fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you not have, you can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause your test say you not have, you can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Keep the numbers down, protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the hurt to the cross, the pain you bear, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high.
The station with the artist station with the artist news.
My Redeemer.
Yes. Welcome back to Rebel Radio. And you know, we're taking the opportunity to talk to some of our friends out in St. Anne. We're talking to Will Henry. What is happening? Yeah, what is happening?
So right now, presently, I'm at Miro's Bookstand in our original district.
Yes.
And I have a place called Pada. You know where I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know Pada.
Yeah, man, and right now, things we haven't seen for about more than 6 months, actually. Now, we have an experience of it right now, which is the rainfall.
Yeah? You having rain there now?
Yeah, we have been rain there now.
Wow, boy, that is very good because the only thing I wish you could transfer some of it up into Kingston. Yes, because there's water lack off in certain sections of the carpet area right now. Yeah.
You know that we all serve one God, so He's there for everybody. So you know you soon give on years.
Yes. But that's very good. That's very good news to know that you're having rain down there.
Yes. Watching some of the children to get home right now because they will stop and look in shelters and in places.
Yes. Okay. That is good news.
I'm right by a shop where at we're calling right at Miss Maggie.
Yes.
Percy, original Percy.
Yes.
In there about 2 years ago or so, but the right time place here in that have a business place. And things like that. Okay. Sheltering out of the rainfall also.
Yes.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. So apart from that, what else are happening in your house, man? How are things otherwise?
Well, normally, you know, sometimes we have a little theft them goodbye, you know, because the other day the looters them come around and them broke a shop and took out all of the poker machine them and everything. We breaking up boat just nearby the square, the bottom shop, near to my sleep house, you know, so that's close to the square there, sir.
Yes.
And car thief come and take the man goat and everything there. I'm going on the top rock also. Go take a goat.
Yeah? What the hell you saying, man? So
you know, that still having some little theft, you know?
Yeah. Yes. That not sound good. That not sound good.
That sound good, but you know, some man out of the area pass through and load and, you know, and load us on them things.
Yeah, man. That.
I know, so no believe man not really going to the activity. I can't grow in here, so you know how they would.
Yes, of course.
But otherwise, you know, it's a normal, a peaceful community. We don't have no crime. None of them things are going on and them things, you know?
Yeah. And how the farming are going down there?
Yeah, well, that's the thing again. We have, through the course of the rain, we never have rainfall from the day. No man can get to farm. Most of the man must be on the road and so. Play dominoes and them things. They will check them friends. We don't deal with them play them things. But now that you start experiencing, I don't know how long we're going to get it. Because, you know, you heard that we're going to really soak on them things there.
Yeah.
That man can still even take a piece of yam.
Yes.
Still dry, you know? Yeah, we get to be out 1 week straight actually, if you know this boy. Farming can still prelude.
Yes. How's the school, man? What's going on at school, really? How's school going on?
Yeah, as I said to you the other day about the school thing now, well, they need some little help by the school, you know? Like they need some TV if you go in the room, them, if they can help the children them to do them work and them thing there. With the, you know, with them laptop also.
Yeah.
So we need some help and some other people if anybody can help with the school manager, you know?
By the way, electricity reach at school yet?
Huh?
Electricity.
Yeah, man, not here for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, Wi-Fi, everything, man.
All right. That sound good too. Yeah. Yeah, man. And everybody taking it easy.
The school much improved that they have security there working on shift.
Yes.
Right now, previously about 1 year security work on the school, you know. And they work on shift, so you know, so things are going.
Yes, man.
So everything kind of change.
Yeah, yes.
And it changed to the Miros primary and junior high.
Okay, yeah. Who from in our class who
I know that Campbell, the man Campbell, that we call him Cliff. You remember him?
Clifford Campbell?
Yeah. He was much younger than us.
Yeah.
Cliff, yeah. Well, he used to teach him there, but him kind of retired now. But in the past, he still really teach some other different type of classes there. But previously, not teachers in our area from our time in school there, right now.
Okay, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes, man. But just imagine that.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm telling you the right of a person here and seeing that right here, so the one who run the shop, you know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, man. So everybody else all right up there, William?
Come on, everybody all right, man. I'm going to tell you, everything does run calm and nice in the village.
Yes. All right. So take care of yourself.
Yeah, well, it was nice talking on the radio, you know, and take care to your fans and everybody and things like that. And hope we'll talk again and have a good evening.
Yes, will you? Thank you.
Yeah, man. I respect you, man.
Yes. That was Will you know, talking to us from Muros in St. Anne. Yes, man. They are having rain in St. Anne now. That section of St. Anne, that is encouraging, because that is what we would want in the corporate area, some rain. Well, you know, we have come to the end of today's live programs. And we'd like to thank our guests and all our listeners and viewers to Rebel Radio, and we just want to encourage you to continue listening our programs and keep your ears to Rebel Radio. So have a good evening and stay safe. I am Desmond Richards.